Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
Oh yeah, boy.
A recent Cinema Classic was awarded the AFI, the American Film Institute's Lifetime Achievement Award, recently. Diane Keaton.
Okay. Does she deserve it?
Yes, of course she deserves it.
What do you mean, of course?
There have been other people probably less deserving of it. I can't think of them right now. But this is interesting. We had this conversation as many times as we've talked about Woody Allen. I never knew that you harbored this little festering disdain for Diane Keaton.
Last 10 years.
The last 10 years?
Yeah, she's been in rom-coms that have pushed her cutesy little persona to the degree that at 60 or 70 years old, whatever she is, it doesn't work for me.
In her 70s.
Okay, it doesn't work for me, and directors don't know how to deal with somebody with that kind of star power.
Okay, now, let's backtrack a second. Calm down. Hold your horses. Now, it's interesting, somebody like De Niro, who has practically squandered his legacy on crap movies in the last 20 years, 25 years, have been really essentially just a wasted 2 decades of waste. You let him off the hook?
I don't necessarily let him off the hook, but this man...
Bad grandpa?
He has, even the Fockers, he has shown a comedic side to him. He has expanded himself. I agree, he's not the guy we once knew, but I can just accept what I see is De Niro doesn't push it. He changes to a different persona, but he doesn't push it. Keaton pushes it. We've still got the big belts. We still got the supposedly sexy smile. We still have the little ditzy act of hers way into her 70s, and it just doesn't work. That's for me. Okay. Now, it might work for others.
So now, but you leveled this criticism against her, that she's been frittering away in these rom-coms. And the only one I'm sure there's probably a couple of them, but I remember Something's Gotta Give. Yeah. And that is actually a really enjoyable movie.
Could be, but because I said so,
you didn't enjoy that with Jack Nicholson and her?
No, I didn't. I didn't. Again, because they were
You know what?
playing
I know what it is. I know what it is.
No, you don't.
Really, it's your ageist. You're ageist.
No.
You don't. Yeah, you do. You don't like to see old people being old.
Morning Glory, and So It Goes. I just can't. This stuff. What
is that?
I can't even. Believe me, I can't even tell you. Okay. Other than just. Let's talk about her as a cheater.
First of all, this is a flawed premise that you're denying her just deserves for the AFI or based on the last 10 years. Look at her cinematic output.
This is what I would like to do.
This is what she's
Isn't
getting.
This what the show is about?
She's getting recognized for
an Academy Award winner.
Right.
And you started out with Woody Allen. Could I start out?
Yeah, go ahead.
With what Woody,
I know what she did.
What Woody says about her?
Yes, please. In
real life, Keaton believes in God, but she also believes that the radio works because there are tiny people inside it. There is the ditz side that, of course, Woody loved, and then Warren Beatty somehow loved. And I'll repeat the line from Warren Beatty.
Yeah, that's
okay. And I'll repeat the line that Woody Allen says about Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
He says, "If in the next life I'd like to come back as Warren Beatty's fingertips." All right.
Yeah, he's aiming low there.
It is right.
Yeah, he gave a funny speech at the AFI ceremony. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't.
Eventually it will be televised. There's some of it that you can catch on YouTube, but it was a funny, lovingly rendered appreciation of Diane Keaton. Great. Yeah, there's so much great stuff those two did together in the 70s.
Now, even though we know it, we need to tell people, Annie Hall.
Oh, of course.
They were big winners with that one.
Yeah, but, they had been working up to that for years with Play It Again, Sam, Sleeper, Love and Death, and then culminating with Annie Hall, and then following that up with arguably a better film, Manhattan. Yeah. The two of them were a powerhouse comedy couple, and not just comedy. You know, the humanity stuff that they got at from within those that framework was really extraordinary.
And
Then,
she
you know,
did a successful job with Steve Martin in Father of the Bride.
yeah,
There were two of
Right.
those in the 90s. So she was
Exactly.
still working away.
she worked. Yeah, she also, let's not forget, post Woody Allen, she had a really successful, interesting career. You know, also, by the way, in the '70s, she was in the Godfather movies.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
thought that's what you were going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also in the '80s, she did a couple of really interesting movies. One of which was Shoot the Moon, directed by Alan Parker and co-starring Albert Finney, about the disintegration of a marriage.
Good.
And with Warren Beatty, Reds, which is an incredible, epic,
An
historical
incredible flop,
romance.
wouldn't you say?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, commercially, maybe.
Yes, it was.
Because it was a challenging film, but it is a great movie. I don't think anybody can argue that.
No.
The characters, the romance at the heart of that movie, even just the scene at the train station where she's waiting for him to come off the train. Beautiful.
1977, Looking for Mr. Goodbar got her our first big award, the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
So.
And also, she was deliberately taking a step towards doing darker stuff. Looking for Mr. Goodbar, she was, you know, playing a decidedly un-Diane Keaton-like character. Yeah.
And there are characteristics of Diane Keaton that I think there are kind of ancillary things that were very powerful. For instance, she was one of the first prominent women to dress like a man. And
Yeah, she was
and
taking
that
cue from-
fashion.
She was definitely taking cue from Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, but you got it. But in a modern way, she was very powerfully affecting fashion.
Well, yeah, with Annie Hall
Yeah.
in particular. The big hats, the sort of the Ralph Lauren khakis and the white shirts. Yeah, and you know, she still is very, when you look at her, when you see her on any kind of talk show, you know, she has a distinct fashion. You mentioned the big belts.
Yes.
She is a quirky, eccentric, classic New York Hollywood figure. And, you know, I get what you're saying. You know, sometimes these big stars, at the end of their careers, they sort of, you know, taper off. Their careers taper off into these silly, you know, they go down these silly avenues.
Usually romantic comedies.
But they're still deft at what they do. They're still sometimes very enjoyable to watch. We mentioned De Niro. He's another one who is late in his career, and not even so late. I mean, at least Diane Keaton was still trying to do some decent stuff. You know, and De Niro was just kind of doing whatever he wanted.
And De Niro is so good that he can play all those. And the problem is, he is such a fine actor that you can never really accept him devolving into these silly romantic comedies. And yet, he's still, I think, as you're suggesting, the presence is still there.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that that personal magnetism, that persona that they have, and in both cases, the camera's on them, and people are just in awe.
Yeah, I mean, she is still a delight to watch on screen, whether or not you agree, and that maybe you think she's too old for you.
No, right now she's very happy that you have given her such approbation.
I'm sure that she's very happy about this nobody.